Good afternoon, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Student Conference for Global Sustainability, co-hosted by German Embassy and Seoul National University. As you know, we have a 4-year history, but I will explain the history later. Due to delayed time, then I go to the next step. And we have a distinguished guest, but I will introduce some people, but I just let you know who participate in the conference. Then the German ambassador, the Georg Schmidt, attended in the conference, and Professor Yu Hong Lim, the president of Seoul National University, attended, and Dean of College of the Life, Agriculture and Life Science, Professor Zhang Pan-sik, attended. The Dean of Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology, Professor Do-man Kim, attended. And the director, the Seoul Information Center of the EAD, Dr. Ho-kyung Lee, attended. And also, do we invest? No, okay. We have more people, but I will introduce later. To delay the schedule, then I introduce later the more people. Directly I go to the conference schedule for the opening the conference. Then, as I mentioned, for the conference, the German ambassador Georg Schmidt attended. I will ask him for his opening remark. Please give him the big applause.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction, and thank you very much, dear President, that you take the time to be with us personally on this date. And I was excited. I was a little bit responsible for also delay because today is quite a special day. We're here to talk about carbon sinks and forests, but I cannot ignore what happened last night. And I personally say, as a German ambassador, I was relieved when the martial law declaration was revoked. I was relieved to see that bloodshed was averted, because to me, it would have been really a tragedy if blood had been on the streets of Seoul. Because when soldiers are ordered on the streets, there's always a possibility of them firing on unarmed civilians. So democracy is all about dealing with differences peacefully. Even if we see violence and protests in democratic societies, but it's the police to deal with it. It's not the military. Sending soldiers has a different quality. And as a very strong partner of Korea, bilaterally, but also in multilateral formats, I hope very much that the current crisis can be overcome peacefully and following the rule of law. I had to say this before I talk about forests and climate change. But I myself have the privilege the German residence is in Seongbuk-dong, so it's far up. It's a fitness program, so whenever I go shopping, I have to walk down for half an hour and come back up half an hour. But I also have the privilege to be right next to a national park. So within 5 minutes, I can walk, and I am in a forest. And it's beautiful, it's fantastic, it relaxes you, and I feel that so many Koreans also love hiking. There is something special about it. And I think when people go out in the forest, they appreciate the beauty, and this is something different in other countries where people think the forest is only dangerous. But the beauty of the forest is one thing, its recreational value, it's one thing. But today we're talking about the forest as a carbon sink, and the importance of forests in climate change and in dealing with some of the issues. So we have to look at it. According to the IPCC, forests could provide up to 30% of the greenhouse gas emission reductions needed, up to 30%. However, we live in a world where we see that deforestation is much more the order of the day than conserving forests. Here, I think, again, Korea has a success story. If you look at Korea in 1953, directly after the Korean War, and if you look at it now, you can see that so much reforestation has happened. Actually, we celebrated 50 years of Korean-German cooperation in reforestation after the war. And and I hope some of you will have the chance to be in the German residence, because we planted a little mugunghwa in the residence to commemorate this cooperation. So the well-being of forests is important, and it has the new dimension of climate change and climate sink. And this is why we're here. So I think it's very interesting to listen to today's student conference, to your ideas. What are community-based solutions? What are your ideas, what we can put forward? I always feel that in climate change, we sometimes feel overwhelmed because it's so big, it's abstract. What can we do? What can I do as a small individual? But actually, we might only go to vote every 4 years. But we vote with our wallets every time we go shopping. We make a difference. The way we consume products, the way we buy them, the way we choose them makes a huge difference, whether we choose to use them again or not. Today we brought our German embassy's recycling bank, our green bench here, which is made entirely out of recycled plastic. It's a small symbol to show that, yes, you can recycle lots of things, you can do it again. And I'm sure, and I'm very curious to hear what kind of ideas and solutions you all come up with and what you give us today as a topic. So I'm very glad to be here today. Congratulations already. We're very thankful to the cooperation with Seoul National University. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador, for the warm remarks. Now I'd like to invite Professor Yu-Hong Lim, the president of Seoul National University. Please welcome him with a big applause.
Well, talking about the politics, I mean, the Koreans are accustomed to political turbulence and how to get over turbulence. We have been showing a lot of resilience in overcoming the crisis, including climate crisis too. Okay. Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished participants. It's my great pleasure and honor to deliver a warm welcome to all participants to the 4th Student Conference for Sustainability 2024, co-hosted by the German Embassy in Seoul and the Seoul National University. As you might know, 2024, this year is the 50th anniversary of the forest cooperation between Germany and South Korea. And I believe that today's event is another great example of the long-lasting cooperation between our two countries. First of all, I like to extend a special thanks to German Ambassador Gero Schmidt for co-organizing this global sustainability conference, especially focusing on the views of the young generations on forests as nature-based climate solution. Another grateful acknowledgement goes to Dr. Ho-Kyung Lee from the German Academic Exchange Service for working as a jury member in the student competition. Also, I thank the SNU institutions leaders for holding this student competition, including Professor Do-man Kim, Dean of the Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology, Professor Ho Kim, Director of the Institute for Sustainable Development, and Professor Johan Lee, Chair of International Interdisciplinary Program and Global Environment Management. Also the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, Jang Pan-sik, has done a lot of help to organize this conference. As well, my gratitude must go to 6 jury members from the German Embassy, the German Academic Exchange Service, and Seoul National University for evaluating the student teams. I deeply thank you for all of your participation today. Your presence enhances the significance of this conference. We are now experiencing global crises and problems, including extreme drought, flood, disease caused by climate change. As climate change escalates into a global crisis, we urgently need technologies and strategies to mitigate and adapt to climate change to build a sustainable society. Forests and climate change are deeply interconnected, as forest loss and degradation are both a cause and an effect of our changing climate. Healthy forests play a crucial role in mitigating climate change by acting as carbon sinks, as Ambassador mentioned. To maximize the climate benefits of forests, we must keep more forest landscapes intact, manage them more sustainably, and restore more of those landscapes which we have lost. Based on this context, it is invaluable to provide the young generation with a communication platform to present their ideas, perspectives, and solutions to forests for climate mitigation and adaptation. I thank students and visitors for participating in the on-site and online conferences through the YouTube channel and Metaverse platform. In particular, I congratulate 4 student teams for being awarded at this conference. Thanks to the 4 teams, we could share diverse approaches and ideas to create a sustainable campus. We need more opportunities for the young generation to present their diverse and creative ideas and views. I expect that this conference will be a stepping stone for active communication on forests as nature-based climate solution led by the young generation. Seoul National University will support your communication platform. I hope that SNU and the German Embassy will cooperate further for the global community toward sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Yu Hong-lim. The next, I'd like to invite the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Science, Professor Chang Pan-sik. Yeah. Please give him a big applause.
First of all, thank you. Especially thank you, German Ambassador Georg Schmidt. Just before you have said about the Korean turbulence last night, reforestation can give us the peaceful mind. So, reforestation can give us the solution about the Korean turbulence. So I think no problem in Korea. Yeah. Our Excellency President of Hong-lim Liu and grateful excellent Ambassador, German Ambassador Georg Schmidt, and distinguished guests and esteemed colleagues, especially, and dear students Yeah, this is my great honor, and it is my very great honor to welcome you to the first student conference for sustainability 2024, co-hosted by the German Embassy and Seoul National University, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of forest cooperation between Germany and Korea. First of all, I extend my deepest gratitude to President Hong Liu for his steadfast support and to Ambassador Georg Schmidt for his invaluable collaboration in hosting this meaningful event. My sincere thanks also go to Dr. Ho-Kyung Lee from the German Academic Exchange Service, as well as to all the esteemed members of organizing committee, including the Professor Doman Kim, and etc., and jury and participating institutions whose dedicated efforts have made this conference possible. This year's conference theme, as you know, forest, nature-based climate solutions, is especially timely as we face the escalating challenges of climate change. Forests play a vital role in addressing these challenges, serving as carbon sinks, safeguarding biodiversity, and providing invaluable ecological, economic, and cultural benefits. As we celebrate 50 years of forest cooperation between Germany and Korea, we reflect on the transformative impact of this partnership, from shared expertise in reforestation to innovations in sustainable forest management. This collaboration demonstrates the power of unity and vision in building a green future. As the Dean of KELS College of Culture and Life Sciences, I take great pride in witnessing the passion and ingenuity of our students as they address pressing sustainability challenges. This conference offers a unique platform for the younger generation to share their ideas, discuss strategies, and collaborate on solutions for the more sustainable world. Their creativity and dedication inspire hope and reaffirm that the future of sustainability is in their hands. The conference also highlights the strengths of international cooperation. The participation of both German and Korean institutions underscores the critical importance of partnerships in addressing global environmental challenges. Together, we can amplify our impact and drive transformative change through collective action. As we listen to today's presentations, I encourage everyone to engage with curiosity and an open mind. The innovative ideas shared by our students will not only inspire us, but also strengthen our shared commitment to combating climate change through forest-based solutions. Conclusively, my heartfelt thanks go to all our distinguished guests, speakers, and participants for being with us today. Best wishes to the student teams as they share their insights and visions. May this conference serve as a catalyst for collaboration and progress, and may it deepen our collective resolve to achieve sustainability. Thank you. I really want to, all of you have a productive and fruitful and insightful conference. Thank you again.
Thank
All right.
Thank you, Professor Chang. So now I'd like to invite Dr. Ho Kyung Lee from the Seoul Information Center from DAAD.
Your Excellency, German Ambassador Mr. Georg Schmidt, Your Excellency Hong Lim Liu, the President of the Seoul National University, and respected professors from the Seoul National University and honored students and distinguished guests. It is a privilege to join you today, and I extend my sincere thanks for your invitation again to this important event. Today, we are united to emphasize the essential role forests play in addressing one of humanity's greatest challenges, climate change. This occasion provides a valuable platform for us to reflect not only on climate issues, but also on the shared future of all life on Earth. Forests ever present around us have silently protected us, reminding us of nature's resilience and its gentle, profound strength. As one of the most remarkable nature-based solutions, forests amplify the partnership between humans and nature, offering us countless benefits and calling on us to uphold our responsibilities. In Germany, especially, forests hold deep significance not only for their ecological contributions, but also cultural symbols. As you know, the Black Forest, Schwarzwald, the Harz Mountains, and the numerous other regions have long inspired German poets, artists, environmentalists, fostering a deep respect for nature. Today, Germany's commitment to sustainable forestry and reforestation stands at the forefront of global efforts to combat climate change, serving as a model of environmental stewardship. I would like to highlight the strong collaboration between Germany and Korea in promoting forest conservation and sustainable management. Programs such as forest cooperation between Germany and Korea for 50 years have facilitated shared knowledge and resources, enabling both countries to strengthen forest policies, promote reforestation, and address deforestation. These collaborative efforts support research on forest biodiversity and sustainable practices, benefiting not only our two nations, but also the global community. This partnership underscores the environmental challenges demand cross-border cooperation and integrated solutions. As you know, rapid deforestation in regions like Africa and South America, along with the resulting environmental degradation and climate change, have global implications. The United Nations and the European Union have recognized forest protection as essential for climate change mitigation and stressed the need for international cooperation. Deforestation threatens local communities, accelerates climate change, and leads to biodiversity loss, making joint global efforts crucial in safeguarding forests. And I want to focus on the role of the business parts. The significance of forests extends beyond environmental impacts. Sustainable forest management and corporate social responsibility in climate action require the participation of business alongside governments. Companies play a vital role in forest protection and sustainable resources management through adherence to ESG principles, a role that must continue to grow. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that forests are more than just resources. They are vital allies in combating climate change, addressing community needs, and ensuring a sustainable future. It is our collective responsibility to protect and manage forests and to foster global cooperation to advance the sustainable forest management and restoration. Once again, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my deepest appreciation and admiration to the participants for their commitment and passion for the environmental and forest conservation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for your kind remark. Yes, I think I missed my introduction. My name is Misun Park from Seoul National University, from the Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology. And as I explained, we have the student conference. It is a competition. In 2021, we have the first topic about climate change. And then 2022, we have the biodiversity issues. And the last year, we have the topic of a sustainable campus. Now, this year, we celebrate the 50 years of Germany, the forestry cooperation. And we highlighted the topic, the forest, as nature-based solution, nature-based climate solutions. As a forest policy expert, I'm very happy to handle this topic with you. And we announced this competition in September, and we collected the abstract, and around 18 teams applied, and now we have selected 4 teams. Everybody is winner, but we have another competition today. And we have a jury member. As you know, we have 6 jury members, but now on site we have 4 jury members. Professor Ho Kim, Director of Institute of Sustainable Development at the Seoul National University. So there, the presenter should know exactly. The Professor Tae-Yun Kim, and Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology. And Professor Hee Han, Interdisciplinary Program on Global Environmental Management, as well as the Department of Agriculture, Forestry, and Bioresources. And Ms. Annette Schwartz, the Counselor in Scientific Affairs from German Embassy. Yeah. And we have the 4 jury members, and they will evaluate, and we will evaluate your communication. That we know already your presentation. Have you ever visited the metaverse, the Through Gather Town? You can see the presentation files. Now this conference is a live streaming conference that everybody can see you at the YouTube channel of Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology. Maybe your friends and your families. I hope some people from Germany, and that we can see your presentation, we share the result, and if you visit the metaverse, then you can write your opinion to the presentation or the conference. We happy to collect your opinion about the conference. Yeah. This conference gives the students opportunity to present and exchange knowledge and ideas on sustainability. This year, the forest, the nature-based climate solution. After the presentation, we have discussion time. That it is open to share your knowledge and ideas about forests and climate change. Und ich freue mich, dass die deutschen Botschafter und die Nationalen Universität schon im 4. Jahr die Konferenz über globale Nachhaltigkeit gemeinsam ausrichten. Die Konferenz wird eine wertvolle Gelegenheit, die sich ernsthaft mit Fragen der Nachhaltigkeit auseinanderzusetzen und kreative Lösungsansätze zu entwickeln. Ich möchte der Botschaft meinen herzlichen Dank aussprechen, dass sie die Durchführung dieser Konferenz ermöglicht hat. Insbesondere danke ich Besucher für Ihr Kommen durch YouTube. Ich wünsche Ihnen viel Spaß mit uns zusammen bis zum Ende. Thank you. Yeah. we needed to clean the floor. Then maybe we just have 1 or 2 minute break. That we will start student presentation. Thank you. Yes, now we will start the second or the first student competition session. Before starting, I'd like to invite Professor Rilke Kroimer-Hoppe from the Regensburg University. She will give some remark.
Dear students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here today at this remarkable student conference on forest, nature-basis climate solutions. Deforestation and forest crisis are, however, not a new phenomenon. Or this may have been even the start into the climate change we witness today, but it might also be part of the solution. The first energy that humankind made his own, apart from food and its own human labor, was fire, and therefore wood. The use of fire by humans began more than 500,000 years ago. The next energetic step occurred around 10,000 years ago, the Neolithic Revolution. Humankind settled down, and wood was not only used for cooking, but also for building houses. Due to the rapid growing use of wood for housing, cooking, building ships, and other things, the first energy crisis occurred a long time ago in the form of wood crisis. All this finally led us to the Industrial Revolution and, as you all know, to our changing climate today. The forest and wood has not only been our first energy sources, it had also provided us with substantial insight into sustainable development, as the term sustainable development itself stems from forest management. This gives me hope with regard to our learning capabilities. 500,000 years ago, we learned to use the forest to prepare more efficient food. Now we learned and are still learning how to manage and protect the forest. You are the future of this learning curve. And with you students sitting here and are eager to contribute in this debate, I'm hopeful that we will learn and be able to manage our forest and overcome deforestation. In conclusion, the challenge of deforestation is immense, but so is our collective potential to overcome it. By working together, Germany and Korea can lead the way in creating a sustainable future. Let us commit to taking bold action, supporting innovative research, and empowering you, the next generation, to be stewards of our planet.
Thank you, Professor Kroimer-Hoppe. And now we can start the presentation. Then we have the first team. Honestly, we have no gender balance at this time, but it is the result through evaluation. The first team is Eun-yeol Choi, Jia Kim from Department of Sociology, and with the title Shared Forestry Strategy for Sustainable Forest Management on individual, national, and international level. Welcome the group with a big applause.
Hello, everyone. We hope that you're having a great afternoon. My name is Eun-yeol Choi, and this is my teammate, Jia Kim. And we are currently undergraduate students studying sociology at the College of Social Sciences. And we are very, very grateful that we are here to present to you about shared forestry, strategy for sustainable forest management on individual, national, and international levels. And so, as you may have seen from our title, we were actually inspired by the concept of sharing economy, which was introduced with the emergence of digital platforms and attempts to share resources that would otherwise remain idle. Uber and Airbnb are all successful examples of such sharing economies that have led to the reuse of transportation into economic and spaces into economic resources. As the sharing economy proves to be a plausible and sustainable approach, we have attempted to bring a similar framework to the area of future forestry. This concept will be examined from the individual, national, and international levels, as each level has different aims and contributions to offer in creating and maintaining the concept of shared forestry. So as urgent concerns regarding forestry has risen from examples such as the 2022 California forest fires, and since forests and natural borders do not always follow the artificial political national borders, the need for a shared forestry strategy on all levels remain higher than ever. On the individual level, digital tools and ecotourism are major resources that can be utilized to raise further awareness and boost public participation. An already excellent example of this would be Forestry England, a non-governmental organization which mainly utilizes their digital platforms to create and promote activities such as art in the forest, veteran trees, open habitats to the public. And another example that might be closer to us Koreans would be the recreational forests, or hyangnim, which is an example of forestry use incorporated with community well-being here in South Korea. We believe that maintaining public attention and also raising awareness is needed in order for more sustainable forest management plans. As such, using online apps and platforms to provide an easier and a direct access to activities, products, and resources, information will be beneficial and is something that is viable on the individual level. Shared forestry may also be of use to small local businesses and individual actors, as online apps and platforms will enhance access to products that have been manufactured through sustainable methods, and this will raise the moral and environmental standard when it comes to producing and purchasing such forestry products, and hence will solidify this sense of shared forestry. Moving on, as is already seen in online services from organizations such as the Pacific Whale Foundation that allows its users to track marine animals, digital ecotourism can also be another example of using platforms to share experiences and awareness. Such a method is effective in that it can foster active engagement, thus raising awareness of forest wildlife and endangered species, but may also lead to communal efforts to protect and manage our forests more sustainably. In terms of propositions on the individual level, we propose the above three. 1, raising and maintaining awareness of forest habitat and wildlife in general would be much more effective coming from grassroots actors and activists. 2, organizing and staying actively engaged in community-based activities and events. As we have seen from the examples above, forest has the potential to act as a communal space without being limited to a simple geographical location or natural landscape. 3, perhaps the hardest and the most important part would be for individuals to urge policymakers, organizations, and governments to take further legal, administrative, and sustainable action.
Secondly, on the national level, we will discuss how the concept of shared forestry will look like among bordering countries. Bordering nations have the potential to significantly enhance their ability to respond to the climate crisis by adopting collaborative forest management models. Notable examples already in place are the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization, the ACTO, and Central African Forest Commission, the COMIFOC. In ACTO, South American nations share responsibility for protecting the Amazon. Through joint efforts, they monitor deforestation rates, coordinate biodiversity conservation, and implement sustainable forestry practices across the border. By pooling resources and sharing technological expertise, nations can create a more impactful outcome when it comes to forestry management. Some examples of collaborative ACTO projects are Akri Ucayali Project, ACTO Biomass, and Amazon Basin Project. Here we are able to see that sharing forestry through the form of intergovernmental organizations can not only align itself with larger global sustainability goals, but also implement more effort into sustainable management of regional forest and biohabitat. The COMIFOC is an intergovernmental organization established by the treaty signed in 2005 by the heads of states and governments of Central African countries. They exert considerable influence in the formulation of regional initiatives and policies. They strive to manage sustainable Congo's forest ecosystem and prevent the loss of abundant local biodiversity. Therefore, numerous African countries adjacent to Congo's forests are joining the partnership by investing national resources to protect forests. Through shared funding mechanisms and sharing forest resources and solutions, neighboring countries can more effectively mitigate the forest damage. We may construct shared forestry among bordering countries by referring to existing cooperation systems, and this complementarity enables countries to cover vast forest areas and address issues that transcend national boundaries. Additionally, shared management frameworks make it easier to standardize conservation policies and establish a unified approach to sustainable development. Therefore, we would like to propose 3 specific cooperation measures to protect forest resources among neighboring countries. The first is the Joint Forest Restoration Project. Sustainable restoration methods at border areas can be found through budget contributions, technological cooperation by countries, and convergence with local knowledge. In addition, jointly establishing relevant regulations and an arbitration body for faithful implementation will foster measures such as finding a common ground in forest protection laws and a sanctions policy. Finally, establishing an ecological corridor will transform the border into an ecological boundary. Through this, it is expected that easier forest protection will be possible by effectively integrating infrastructure and lowering geographical boundaries, such as jointly establishing conservation plans in both countries. At the international level, the development of global forest management platforms has proven to be instrumental in improving forest conservation worldwide. A leading initiative in this field is REDD+, which helps developing countries reduce deforestation by providing financial incentives. Through this initiative, countries gain access to the latest satellite imagery and drone technologies to monitor forestry in real time. By utilizing these technologies, even nations with limited resources can better manage their forests and track illegal deforestation. Moreover, REDD+ promotes the exchange of optimal practices and data on sustainable forest management. This fosters collaboration between countries that may not share borders, but face similar challenges, whether that be geological, geographical, or cultural. The platform also enables countries to report on their forest protection progress transparently, helping them share knowledge and hold each other accountable on the global stage. When we look at the recent case in Korea, the Korea Forest Service visited East Timor to share successful forest restoration cases in Korea and discussed forest cooperation measures between 2 countries. In particular, countries with relatively little relevant knowledge in the process of efforts to respond to the climate crisis are lacking in performing tasks that require specialized skills such as forest restoration. Therefore, international cooperation, such as technology sharing and dispatch of experts, is essential. Likewise, the UNCCD emphasizes the promotion of peace and trust through the restoration of devastated forests between border countries, especially aimed at supporting the poorest countries suffering from severe desertification.
And so comprehensively, we would like to suggest a global forest management data pooling system, which could be designed where all countries, regardless of their contribution, can access a centralized and shared repository of forest-related data. Countries would input their data, which would then be standardized and analyzed to create a unified global forest monitoring platform. This system would democratize access to cutting-edge information, allowing countries with fewer resources to benefit from the same insights as wealthier nations. It would also support more precise, data-driven policy decisions and enable real-time tracking of deforestation, carbon stocks, and biodiversity changes. More specifically, we propose the establishment of an online platform and satellite monitoring network for global forest management. As a concrete implementation plan, data surveyed and analyzed by each country and data analyzed by satellites will be shared in real time. The current status of forest protection by country, carbon emissions and absorption, and the progress and restoration projects will be accessible by them. At this time, the cost of developing and maintaining networks and platforms can be shared according to the capabilities of each country and through multilateral agreements with international organizations. It is also necessary to prepare standardized regulations to establish a forest cooperation system between countries. With regards to this goal, an annual forum can be held to discuss forest-related experiences and cooperation measures between countries, and by promoting the participation of various actors on all levels, interest and support for underdeveloped countries can be increased, and more ideas for a sustainable forest can be collected. Furthermore, it is important to establish an international system that transparently reports the results of each country's policies and implementations. The effectiveness of current forest-related projects and system can be verified through a verification system, and cooperation between countries may be strengthened. In conclusion, the concept of shared forestry can be widely adapted and applied according to the different levels and needs. On an individual level, digital tools, such as apps that promote forest resources and wildlife, will allow for more experience and common awareness to be shared. Therefore, we hope it would be useful in promoting shared forest management to the general public. On a national level, further collaboration and information exchange would greatly benefit not only the forest ecosystem, but also the management systems. Lastly, on an international level, a large-scale global platform to share data and strategy is suggested in order to allow for appropriate use of shared information on forest ecosystems and management, all the while creating a long-lasting network for the future of forestry. By now, it is widely understood that modern life has left a lasting mark on our planet, with deforestation, climate change, and other impacts taking a permanent toll. We hope these discussions are able to speak real changes for the future of sustainable forestry. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks to the team SOUP. The SOUP means the forest in Korean. And it's very interesting, the multiple level approach to sustainable forest management. And I'd like to correct, I missed the one person, as you remember, that I mentioned is four, the member, but we have a 5 member. I missed Dr. Ho-Kyung Lee, as you remember, but I have already introduced it. You have a 5 jury member for today for evaluating the presentation. And next presenter, Jimin Seo, Department of Child Development and Family Studies, facilitating community engagement in urban forestry for sustainability.
Hello everyone, guten Tag. My name is Jimin Seo, and I am a sophomore in the Department of Child Development and Family Studies. And I also currently started studying the interdisciplinary program of Global Environment Management recently. Today I would like to introduce how to provide community engagement to facilitate urban forestry. So why don't we start out with a short story? I would like you to imagine a bustling city with people. Citizens realized the importance of greenery in their urban environment, and they continued to nurture the trees that they already had, using technology to monitor the trees' health and provide more care. But suddenly, a critical question arose. Wouldn't it be better to actually have more trees in the first place? Obviously, the answer would be yes, but how would we plant more trees? The city is already so crowded, and we can't replace the already built infrastructure into trees, can't we? Usually, people would stop here and give up, but what if we took a fresh perspective? What if we could repurpose our overlooked, forgotten spaces into vibrant green spots powered by the collective effort of the community? Today, I would like to introduce an initiative that we could actually transform the overlooked places in our urban areas. In most cities, underutilized spaces hold the immense potential for hosting greenery. These areas often go unnoticed despite being right under our noses. Identifying and transforming these spaces, we can create a more sustainable urban environment. But now you may ask, do such spaces really exist? Where are these spaces? Well, I'll give you one example. Can you imagine the highway areas? The sound barriers are always around you. Visualize trees lining the stretch, creating a beautiful, functional green space along this area. Even if these spaces seem very small individually, collectively, they have enormous potential to transform the whole city. Some other examples would be unused corners of public parking lots, or grounds surrounding large facilities like stadiums, or even bridges, rooftops, or even small spaces suitable for greenery. All would not matter. The challenge lies, though, in identifying these spaces. Governments and administrative bodies are just too busy. They can't provide resources to spot them. So that's where citizens play their pivotal role. To encourage citizen participation, I propose a fee-based system. This is a model combining incentives and disincentives to drive positive environmental behavior. In order to let this system work, we need to consider when and where from these incentives will be given out. First of all, incentives will be given out under two conditions. First, for discovering these places, citizens who identify the potential planting spots will receive incentives after the government verifies the location and its feasibility. Second, planting and maintaining trees will also be incentivized. As the approved locations are taken care of, more individuals will earn incentives. The caring process is equally important as the planting process because if one just plants a tree and does not take care of it, we could not call it a sustainable system. Next is about the fees. The fees funding requires great effort to make it sustainable. Because some businesses contribute to the deforestation of the society, it would only be fair for them to help increase forestry. So I propose that some companies or businesses that can help this funding would be industries linked to wood products, such as paper, bag, and cup manufacturers, or even businesses that engage in cutting down trees, like solar panel installations or even farmlands. So now we have gone through what the fee-based system is, and I'm proposing that we should use this system to make forestry in this urban area. But now we have to think, is this even possible for citizens to engage in? Will this be effective? I will propose 3 areas in why this will be effective, and the first one is that even small incentives can motivate people. In South Korea, a system called cash walk, or toss, provides people rewards for walking. So every step you make, it makes you earn money. So this is a very small amount of money, but even despite this amount, people continuously use this application to earn their little types of money. So this can prove that even the small incentives given through this initiative, people can actually be encouraged to find more places to plant trees. Other than this, the fee-based effectiveness can be fully recognized through technology. Because there's always a concern, won't this process be a little too difficult and complicated? Won't I have to fill out long governmental paperwork every time to get my incentives? But the answer will be no if we apply this in an application. If we look into Berlin City Lab project, they introduced an app called Pour the Neighborhood, allowing citizens to monitor trees across the city. You can see here, the app is providing little green dots around the neighborhood, and these all represent trees. If you look closely and click on a dot, you can see how old the tree is, what type of tree it is, and whether or not it needs watering. So you can see that this tree currently does not require water because it's under hibernation. Like this, the initiative I propose today can adapt a similar app to simplify the process and make it easy for citizens to report spaces, monitor tree growth, and even redeem rewards. Last but not least, fee-based systems are widely used and have been proved their effectiveness already. An example can be from France. France has implemented a fee-based system for eco-friendly vehicles, so people who purchase greener cars can receive incentives, while those buying less eco-friendly models have to pay more money. The approach led to a significant shift in consumer behavior and shows this model can work effectively. To add another layer on this engagement, the sustainability of the method is developed as we can introduce climate points. Some of you might worry, what if there's a problem if we give out real money to citizens because they plant trees? This can be solved by using a concept called climate points. This is a kind of digital currency for environmental contributions. Climate points will work like the following. Mainly, these points will be encouraged to use as funding for future planting projects in other areas, vitalizing reinvestment into the system. So when citizens apply their idea to the government, they have to use climate points. But alternatively, these points can also be used as practical economic benefits. So they can use them on discounts on eco-friendly services or tax reductions and making them more appealing to citizens. So now we have gone through the fee-based method, and I have also introduced how it will be an effective way to implement this initiative. Now let's look more carefully into this idea in the perspective of a citizen trying to implement their ideas. Here's how the system will work. First, the citizens will discover the hidden places around them. They will identify spaces and they will report them to the government. But some criteria will be required before the reporting. The areas must have a minimum number of trees accommodatable, and the distance from a certain level of foot traffic will be required because the tree planting must be realistic. The next step will be community support and participation. When we think of planting trees, we can't plant trees alone. Therefore, we need to have the support of other collective community members. Therefore, through the application I introduced earlier, we can have community support and earn votes. And once the member earns enough votes, we can move on to the next step. After the participation is fixed, the government will verify the space and also the interest level, and they proceed the planting process under the government's identification. And finally, the last step, after the planting is proceeded, citizens who initially expressed interest in these spaces will continue to be responsible for monitoring and maintaining these trees. So we have gone through a very long overview of this quite simple fee-based system in the urban environment. There can be many expected benefits. And first, in the individual scale, there will be a sense of ownership for the individuals. People can have a sense of pride and a connection to the spaces they have helped to transform, and will be more satisfactory and pleasant, even in the long run. This can lead to more active engagement. Participants can be more invested in tree care, and they will be able to access more programs and issues in the future. In government scale, government will earn lots of things, but most importantly, they will have increased funding for forest creation. After this initiative is pronounced, more governments and maybe businesses will be aware of this idea and they will contribute to forest funding. Also, they will have more visible results as trees are constantly being planted. And other than trees, cooler local temperatures or reduced CO2 levels will also be an indicator. By transforming overlooked spaces into green oases and empowering citizens through incentives, we can achieve a greener, more sustainable environment. The fee-based system is more than a financial mechanism. It's a way to foster community, responsibility, and a more tangible environment. Together, we can redefine what's possible for our cities. Thank you.
Thanks, Zumin, for your presentation. The last two teams and from undergraduate students, the Eunyeol, Jia, Zumin, and now we have two teams from graduate school, the graduate students. The next presenter is Mi-Jin Jeon from the International Area Studies major, Graduate School of International Studies. The community-led forest management of paths to climate mitigation, adaptation, and mitigation. Please welcome her with a big applause.
Good afternoon, dear Excellency, dear Professor, and dear fellow students. This is Mi-Jin from Grad School of International Studies. I'm so honored to be here at Forest Global Sustainability Conference. Actually, I'm so excited to have this opportunity having a presentation today, since it was quite challenging to compress all the contents into 3 minutes video. So thank you for this opportunity. Basically, I analyzed some case studies to demonstrate which factors are important for the local participation for the forest management. So as everyone knows, we face global challenges like drought, flooding, and diseases driven by climate change. And as the crisis intensifies, we need strategies for mitigation and adaptation to ensure a sustainable future. Forests, which are home to 60,000 tree species, 80% of amphibians, 75% of the birds, and 68% of the world's mammals, act as a critical carbon sinks. They help regulate rainfall, protect water resources, and prevent soil erosion. And for a nearly billion people, forests provide food, water, and medicine while mitigating land-based climate risks. Conserving and restoring forests is also essential to meeting the climate goals. So today, I'd like to introduce CFM, the Community Forest Management. It is an approach to natural resource management that takes into the human communities living around or within a resource. So it is not only targeting the resource management, but also aiming to integrating ecological, economic, and social objectives. So generally, CFM focuses on interdependent ecological, economic, and social elements. Therefore, it has been categorized as one form of sustainable development. Since the 1980s, CFM has gained its popularity worldwide, but it exhibits varying degree of success depending on the contextual factors like the land tenure, local governance, and market dynamics. So to understand the impact and the lessons of the community-based forest management, we need to focus on 5 components that can determine the success or failure of this project. First, clear land tenure. Second, strong local institutions. Third, partnership and collaboration. Fourth, the fair distribution of economic and social benefits. And lastly, the flexibility in responding to external pressure. So these are the factors which are important for the successful CFM that I found. Let me clarify one by one with some case studies. So first, clear land tenure is essential as it provides the communities with defined rights and responsibilities over forest resources. So Ghana faces severe deforestation due to centralized post-colonial forest management policies prioritizing the commercial logging. For combating this illegal logging, Ghana put some efforts like adopting decentralization policies such as 1994 Forest and Wildlife Policy Act, which created community forest councils. However, it failed since decentralization efforts remain nominal, and the unclear land tenure and weak institutions hinder sustainable practices. In contrast, Nepal's community forestry program has become an exemplary model. So here, forests are handed over to local user groups with clear land tenure rights. And these groups manage the forest sustainably, increasing forest cover by 24% between 1990 and 2015. And it also improved the community livelihoods and biodiversity. So this comparison shows that how clear land tenure and robust community-based management structures are important for fostering sustainable forest management. Second, strong local institutions are important for regulating sustainable practices and ensuring community engagement in forest management. When these institutions are weak, the project struggles, as was the case in Ghana again. The Ghanaian government primarily relied on international logging companies to manage resources, which prevented local communities from accessing the resource. Also, the policies favor external commercial interests, marginalizing local needs. As a result, indiscriminate logging and illegal harvesting became rampant. In contrast, India's joint forest management demonstrates that the importance of the institutional strength. By establishing partnerships between the local communities and forest departments, the joint forest management has rehabilitated over 22 million hectares of degraded land, significantly enhancing both ecological and economic outcomes. Third, successful conservation projects underscore the critical role of strategic partnership and multi-stakeholder collaboration, exemplified the Nature Conservancy. The Nature Conservancy has pioneered innovative partnership models, working extensively with private landowners to establish the conservation easement that have protected millions of acres of critical habitats. Their collaborative framework extends beyond the traditional conservation method, engaging with indigenous communities to integrate traditional ecological knowledge and partnering with the governments to influence the policy decisions and aligning with the corporates to promote sustainable business practice. So these partnerships have led to remarkable achievements, such as the protection of over 125 million acres of land globally, and the implementation of science-based conservation strategies in 76 countries. The Nature Conservancy's success demonstrates how strategic collaboration can amplify conservation impact, create lasting policy changes, and generate sustainable funding mechanisms that ensure long-term project viability. Similarly, in Tanzania, the REDD program shows a good example of a partnership and collaboration, as the program inherently depends on the multi-stakeholder engagement, both nationally and internationally. It evolved the partnerships that provided training for the locals on sustainable farming, reducing deforestation rates while improving the livelihoods. This collaboration helped ensure that the benefits from REDD initiatives reach the grassroots level while protecting the traditional rights. And fourth, there must be fair distribution of economic and social benefits from the forest management. When the communities see tangible rewards from the conservation, they are more motivated to maintain sustainable practices. In the Philippines, the mangrove restoration projects have improved the access to services and financial support. And these initiatives enhance the community resilience, providing better health, education, and economic stability. And also, the Mexico's forest enterprises managed by the indigenous communities showcase another successful story. By engaging in sustainable timber production, they have created the jobs and boosted local development. On the other hand, when benefits are distributed unevenly or the corruption arises, communities may lose trust in the project, and as a result, the communities that initially supported this project may become dissatisfied, leading to decreased participation and the long-term skepticism of the community forest management. So lastly, the ability to adopt the external pressures, whether economic or political, plays another critical role in ensuring the longevity and the success of the community forest management. These pressures often stem from fluctuating global market, policy changes, or unforeseen economic challenges, all of which can disrupt sustainable practices if communities are unprepared. For instance, in some regions of Mexico, the lure of short-term economic gains has led to overexploitation of resources, undermining the long-term sustainability. And such cases highlight how global market dynamics can push communities to prioritize immediate profits over preserving the ecological balance. To counter these challenges, it is essential to develop a resilient strategies that equip communities to navigate external changes while maintaining their commitment to sustainable management. As we face the growing challenges of the climate change, empowering communities to lead the forest management offers a promising path forward. By learning successful examples from the Nepal, Mexico, Philippines, US, and Tanzania, we can design strategies that not only conserve forests but also strengthen the community resilience and ensure a sustainable future. Together, we can ensure forests remain the cornerstone of the humanity's survival against the climate change. I appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. In. So now we have a final presenter, Mi-Rang Kang, from Department of Environmental Planning, Graduate School of Environmental Studies. The title is Root of Change, Rethinking Red Plus Economy for Sustainable African Futures. Please welcome her with a big applause.
Good afternoon and guten Tag. I'm Mi-Rang Kang from the Graduate School of Environmental Studies at Seoul National University. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my research today. So today, I will present my research on roots of change, rethinking Red Plus economics for sustainable African futures. So before diving into my research, let me briefly introduce myself. My background is in the economics and with a decade of experience with the International Forest Corporation. And my current research interests are REDD Plus and environmental justice and forest policy and etc. Recently, I published a paper regarding the REDD Plus project in Tanzania from the perspective of environmental justice. Before introducing my research in detail, I would like to start with an overview of REDD Plus. So REDD Plus is the climate change mitigation framework in UNFCCC. And REDD Plus stands for reducing emissions from deforestation and degradation. So at first, it was started from the RED, which is the deforestation, and the degradation was included and then the conservation and enhancing carbon stocks and sustainable management were included as plus. And to quantify reductions in CO2 emissions due to REDD Plus activities, compared with the case where no REDD Plus activities are undertaken, and a reference emission level and reference level have been established with the remote sensing and the ground-based observations. South Korea has actively supported REDD Plus projects through pilot programs with its successful reforestation experience and promoting private sector involvement via financial assistance and KESG index integration. Germany has also significantly contributed to REDD Plus development and implementation, such as REDD Plus early movers. So this is my research background. Research shows 625 projects worldwide. However, there are only 170 in Africa, given urgent conservation needs. So I thought comprehensive feasibility studies are crucial for sustainable REDD Plus expansion in the future. So my study analyzed for Tanzania REDD Plus projects, and using cost-benefit analysis, it quantified cost, opportunity, implementation, transaction, and institutional cost, and benefits. I quantified both market and non-market services, and a sensitivity analysis examined changes in discount rates and carbon prices. For your understanding, let me briefly explain the method of cost-benefit analysis. The MPV is the discount cost and benefits to present value. Positive MPV suggests project profitability, and BC ratio compares discounted cost and discounted benefits to cost, and ratio greater than 1 indicates economic viability. IRR is determine the discount rate that equates the present value of discounted benefit and cost. You might wonder why I chose the Tanzania. Tanzania was selected due to 80% of populations relies on forest, but deforestation is progressing rapidly. And participatory forestry management was well established before the REDD Plus projects, and Norway supported Tanzania with $73 million over 5 years from 2009 to develop the implementation capacity of REDD Plus projects. And also, the UN RED chose 4 pilot projects with best data collection and implementation rates for in-depth analysis in Tanzania. This is the case study for REDD Plus project in Tanzania. Each project addresses the specific drivers of deforestation and implements tailored activities for forest conservation and community development. According to the case study, these four projects address deforestation drivers like crop cultivates, logging, and alternative income development. This is the result of the cost analysis. The blue one is the implementation cost. So it accounts for the largest portion. Following that, the orange one is the transaction cost, or followed by the institutional cost. The JHI, the first one, JHI project, incurred the highest cost with a cost of 23 million US dollar. In this study, the opportunity costs were assumed to be compensated by alternative income sources developed through RED Plus projects. Therefore, the opportunity costs were not directly included in the direct project cost. However, to compare the benefits of RED Plus projects, I calculated the opportunity cost using land use change and various carbon stock surveyed by UN RED. The opportunity cost ranged from the minus 7.8 US dollar per CO2 equivalent to the 20.8 US dollar per CO2 equivalent ton for each alternative land use. This is the result of benefit analysis. The benefits of project were calculated as total economic value, which is include market value and non-market value. So market value is the revenue from the carbon credit sales, and the non-market values are water resources conservation, use value, which is the biodiversity, and existing because value. So due to the practical limitations, I refer the report published by Tanzania government for estimating the non-market values. First, water resources conservation value was calculated using the data from the Tanzania Energy and Water Utilities Regulatory Authority. Use value of forest is closely related to biodiversity. Contributions such as potential new drug development and thus ingraded biodiversity benefit as use value. Existent value is a benefit derived from nature, and because value is the satisfaction gained from preserving something for the future generations to enjoy. So as shown in this table, only considering the market value, the benefit of the Lindy project was found to be the highest, and considering non-market value, the Kilosa project were found to be the highest. The cost-benefit analysis revealed that non-market value significantly contribute to overall project benefits. Only one project achieved a positive net present value when considering only market service. However, integrating non-market service make all the projects except the JHI project economically viable. This highlights the importance of including non-monetary benefits in RED Plus project evaluations. Interestingly, JHI, the largest project, shows the least economic viability, so indicating that the cost effectiveness isn't necessarily tied to project size. The Lindy project performs best economically, likely due to modest implementation cost and a favorable cost structure. Due to the fluctuations in carbon credit price, so I conducted a sensitivity analysis. So if only cash value is considered, the carbon credit price would need to be at least $10 for the project to be economically feasible. For your information, the Green Climate Fund recently agreed to set a price of $8 per ton, and the LEAP Coalition, which is the public-private partnership focused on halting tropical forests, established a $10 floor price. So this research highlights the financial ability of Tanzania's RED Plus projects through a comprehensive cost-benefit analysis that examines both monetary and non-monetary values together. So I suggest key recommendations, which is to assess non-market value recognition and alternative financing and long-term research, holistic approach to design the RED Plus. Economic analysis are crucial for addressing climate change through nature-based solutions, despite not solving all challenges immediately. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thank you, Miranda. We have all the presentation. Please, the all presenter come to the floor, then we can take the question, and then now it's the question and answer time. If you have any question, then please raise your hand. Did you remember or students? Okay, maybe, did you remember Strat?
Thank you all presenters. I'd like to ask some questions for each one of you guys, but it's not the same question. The first presenter, you can share the first concept is great. And also it might be working in some cases, but there should be certain problem statement, to have achieved those shared forest concept by using app. So if you provide certain specific problem for certain areas and then provide some solutions based on your concept, then it will be great. That's my one question. To the second presenter, I guess you assume the planting is good. Planting trees is very good, or it's good behavior. But sometimes planting is not good. Sometimes I don't know exactly, but in my case, I put my apple tree in my house, but it's not survived. So I got some feeling because of my bad management. But so if you consider certain opportunity cost for planting certain areas, then probably it might be changes. So if you provide certain cases where planting is good for our society, then it will be great. Based on the limited land, there might be certain opportunity cost. You can plant trees, or we can have a certain facility to provide certain good facility for the person, service to the people. So you might provide, if you provide certain good opportunity cases, then I appreciate. And then third presenters, I guess the comparative study is great. You present 5 concepts and you explain all of things. Then if you, based on your information, you have many countries cases. If you provide certain, sometimes the solution can differ based on the country's situation. So if you provide certain specific cases based on your 5 components, then it will be great. The last person, I know Tanzania is a developing countries. If you measure certain benefits, it might be different from developed countries or world countries. So if you, since you are in PhD thesis, if you provide certain basic benefits based on the Tanzanian case, what's your guess? That's one of my last question. Did you get my point? I mean, if you measure the benefits in developed countries, the benefit is huge. But mostly in developing countries, the people's awareness is not so high. So their benefits in terms of the monetary value is not so high. So what is the Tanzania case that you conducted?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got many questions. Sorry. But.
Okay, then we can respond to the question. Please give the answer to the question briefly.
So I think we can go first. First of all, thank you so much for your valuable comment and question. And I do have to say, we do agree, and we find it quite regrettable that because we were looking at 3 different levels, and they were all very vast, broad levels, like intergovernmental organizations, that we weren't able to look at very specific, I would say, case study-based solutions or approaches. And because we try to take a holistic view of everything, I do understand that some of the parts were a little generic. It's one thing that we were also thinking about. So please know that we do very value your comments so much, and we are also aware. But we do think that because we were trying to look at it from 3 different levels, we were trying to look how they interacted with each other in a sense, and we were also trying to look at, especially cross-border and also international, sometimes the distinction between them are quite not very strict, and so we were trying to look how all of those would come together in actually, because in a physical sense, there are countries that also share forests. So I think that was what we were trying to aim for. And anything else you want to add, Tia?
Yeah, and when we are ready for the presentation, we're both of us talking about the problems that can be suggest will be the at the international level. We talked about the data sharing, but we know that the data can be the very sensible point to each countries. So we are talking about the role of the international organizations will be more important when we sharing the words about the shared forestry. So we expect that the international organizations' role can solve some problems that can be made from the shared forestry.
Okay, thank you. Then Jimin?
Thank you so much for your question. I understood your question as, are there any opportunity costs in planting trees? Because planting trees might not be like the #1 agenda or the best way to solve problems. Well, I totally agree to your point, and I personally thought that making more trees in the area will be a very simple and easy way to both reduce CO2 levels and mitigate climate change, as well as making citizens feel comfortable in their living areas. But there will be 2 opportunity costs, I think, because in the areas that I mentioned, we could actually make different infrastructure, or we can develop the infrastructure that we already had in those areas. And along with that, we can actually just use the money and effort that to plant more trees to grow the trees that we already have, like they are doing in Berlin. So I think that's the 2 big opportunity costs that I can think of.
Thank you. Then Mizin, please.
Okay, thanks for your question. First of all, I understood your question that we need the different strategies based on the country context. So I'd like to say that for every development project, the one-size-fits-all approach is not for every country. So of course, we need the contextual strategies for each country. So when I do the research for the CFM, I tried my best to find some universal factors which can be applied to majority of countries, and I would like to argue that the 5 components are not that unique or a country-specific factors, I'd say. So if professor have any unique countries that needs the different strategies, I'd like to have a research further. Thank you.
Thank you. Then Mirang, please.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I really understand your question or not, but I will try to answer your question. So just like Tanzania, usually the developing countries, they are has the tropical forest. So tropical forest usually they store 2 or 5 times more carbon than just for example South Korea. So the benefit can be not only for Tanzanian people, but also it can be the benefit for the global level, and also for the calculating the benefits of the non-market value. For this case, this Tanzania, I used the global level of the option price, and I adjust with the population of Tanzania by over the worldwide. So the benefit can be calculated for this case study for Tanzania.
Okay, thank you, Mirang. Yeah. Any question or comments from the embassy side or students? No? Okay. Suyeon?
Hello, presenters. I'm also a graduate student, so I think I have a question for the graduate students, the third and the last presenter. My major is international development cooperation in terms of agriculture and forestry. So your research was very relevant to my study area too. So my first question is that for the third presenter, you mentioned at the end of your presentation regarding CFM that there is a fine balance between the use of forest resource for the local community and also the due to the market opportunity, and then the conservation. So there is a line. And you mentioned resilience strategy, but you didn't elaborate further. So I would like to ask, what is the resilience strategy that you intend to say at the end of your presentation? And for the last presenter, I understand that you did cost-benefit analysis and then multiple economic analysis to evaluate RED Plus program, but in terms of the distribution for the actual Tanzanian the local community, there should be a cost for setting the RED Plus program and also the distribution cost. But I'm not sure if you elaborate these points in your research in terms of economic analysis. So I wanted to ask about those. Yeah.
Okay. Can you please answer briefly? Sorry. Yeah.
Let me give a very short answer for that, and thanks for the question. First of all, in the introduction section, I mentioned that for nearly 1 billion people, forests provide food, water, and medicine, and shelter, and so on. Of course, in Korea, it's not that common, like people getting some resources from the forest. I mean, some of them are doing, but we all have foods around us and so on. But in especially developing countries, I mean, I had an experience living and working in developing countries, and in that sense, the forest is very precious place for them. For their livelihoods. So in terms of, in that regard, I mentioned the resilience strategy is important since the sustainable forest means lively and life to them. So I also added the term survival at the end of my presentation. So I'd like to answer with that. I hope it would be clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. In.
Okay. So I quantified the cost for the project was opportunity cost and institutional cost and transaction cost and implementation. And the cost that you mentioned about the distribution cost is included into the transaction cost. So I added all the cost incurred for the distributioner that is included there. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe the question, Professor Lee.
Okay, let me give you a common question. Okay, thank you for your presentations. What a wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed your presentations. Let me give you a common question to all of you. The answer can be short or very long. You mentioned, most of you mentioned about the benefits and also cost of managing forests. But it's really depending on the ownership of forests. Mostly, many forested lands are owned by states, and also some of them are owned by private. So which one is better? So basically, there's certain issue like who need to pay cost to manage forests and who can get benefits from forests. Sometimes, the person or society to get both of them. But sometimes, someone pays, but other people get benefits. So it can be a social conflict and also some social issues. So mostly, states or government pays for those costs, and private individuals enjoy, all the services freely. So, but based on your study, based on your presentation, which one is better? Who really owned the forest and who really enjoyed the forest? What is your idea?
Okay. It's not easy, but maybe the answer can be simple. Okay.
Can I
Yeah.
answer first?
Okay, do please.
Since I did a presentation regarding the community-based forest management, I would say the community is the one that the living around should have the ownership and benefits from the forest. I had a little skepticism about the traditional forest management because it relies on centralized decision making by governments or private entities, focusing on commercial interest or strict conservation. So I thought it's not what it's not the strategies for the sustainable future, since they're not the one living around the forest. So the reason why I got this topic for my presentation is that the community-based forest management is particularly important for the sustainable future and for the ownership of the forest, so that they can lead it as a long-term strategy. So it is more effective. I would say the community forest management is more effective to conserve our forest, since the population's motivation is, oh my God, I'm sorry. Population's motivation leads to the actual protection of the forest. So that would be my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. In. Okay, then who will be next? Okay, please.
I'll try and keep it very, very short since I
Thank
see the
you.
professor here looking at the time. I would say that definitely conservation and preservation should be a priority when it comes to dealing with forest. And also, I definitely agree with our third presenter in that we should be giving back to communities through forest. But also, I think there needs to be a balance in everything, and we cannot completely ignore the business or private entities when it comes to realistic motivations in keeping our forests there. Anything to add?
Oh, my idea is same as hers, and as based on our concept of shared forestry, it is the sharing forestry. So I think that the community or the states must have the ownership of the forest, and if the ownership of the forest is go to the private, it would be just used as their own interest, not for the whole environment or the whole community. So for the benefit to the whole community and for really sharing the forestry, the community and the states must have the ownership of forestry. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give a short answer too. Based on my presentation, I think I said something like, people should plant trees and people should ask to plant trees, but the government should take care of it. I personally think that the government has the power to collect people and put out laws and make control of things. And communities and individuals, they can't do that. So, and in the perspective of a citizen, trees are really nice, but I wouldn't buy a tree if I could buy something better. So trees are something that will be a priority for people if they have the access or excess amount of money. But if it's all left out to the community, I'm not sure if it will be collected and managed very well. So I do think that the government has to take some sort of role in this situation.
Thank you. And please.
Okay, so I think the governments own should the forest, because just like forest environment, all the people should have equal access to use that. Actually, I researched the environment justice problem for the Red Plus project. I found out lots of problems going on in the Red Plus project in terms of the environmental justice. So I got the conclusion from the research that who is the owner is not that important actually, but how well designed the project is more important than the ownership. Thank you.
Can I add
Thank
something real quick?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I think I gave enough time to you. Yeah, I think it's now because due to delayed time that we needed to collect the scores for the ceremony. I closed the first session now, and we will take just a 5-minute break for collecting the score. Then we will go to the next step. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for the contribution. Okay, thank you for all the presenter. So we have the presentation, and now we want to have the award ceremony. As you know, so we have 4 teams, and I will give the award the step by step. I will recall the name. As you can imagine, the final, the awardee will have the best award. But as I mentioned, you are all present are winner of the competition. Just we would like to pick the best award. Well, congratulations, all members. And for giving the award, I'd like to invite the Professor Ho Kim as a chair, the jury member and the jury chair, and also he is one of the organizing committee member of this conference. The first awardee is Choi Yun-yeol and Kim Ji-ya. Yeah. Wait a minute, I didn't like to find it. I don't like to read the contents, but maybe Professor Ho Kim, can you read it? Then the next for the next awardee for Professor, I'd like to invite Professor Tae-yoon Kim. It's Tae-yoon Kim from Graduate School of International Agricultural Technology. Then there's again Agricultural Technology. Congratulations. Yes, now we have 2 presenters. So I would like to invite Mi-rang Kang, Department of Environmental Planning, Graduate School of Environmental Studies. And please Professor Johan Lee, the Chair of Interdisciplinary Program of Global Environment Management. The same contents, but award of excellence to Mi-rang Kang. Congratulations. Thank you. Then you can guess who are the best winner. So I'd like to invite the Jimin Seo, Department of Child Development and Family Studies. And please, German Ambassador Georg Schmidt for giving the award. Best Award of Excellence to Jimin Seo, Department of Child Development and Family Studies, for the oral presentation entitled The Facilitating Community Engagement in Urban Forestry for Sustainability, the December 1st, 2024, the Georg Schmidt, German Ambassador, and Professor Do-man Kim, Dean, Graduate School of Okay, thank you. Yeah. Now we'd like to invite Professor Ho Kim. Professor Ho Kim for the evaluation remarks.
Yes, I think we all enjoyed the presentation today. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thanks again.
And again, congratulations to all of you. As it was said, everybody's a winner. I never won anything as a student in my life. So you're already far ahead of me. Congratulations and keep it up. Thank you. Thank you.
어디까지 했어? Okay, yeah. So I think this is fourth event of same kind, and I rather enjoy the discussion after rather than the presentation. So I propose some events of discussion for competition who have better arguments. So that is my proposal. And I see some somewhat different levels of interest between undergraduate and graduate. So how to make differences for those levels is another thing we need to consider in the future. And the typical presentation is like proposing something, especially in the undergraduate level. So you are proposing something to persuade general public to change our world, basically. To do that, you need some kind of evidence or reference. So I really like to see the previous studies or previous examples with solid reference. That is something I missed today. So in the next time, you can do something about giving more information about the references or previous information. That is very important. And the conclusion, we'd like to change our world using our researches actually, basically. So you need definitely theories, not only just thinking. So that means you have to spend more time on your disciplines. She used economics, that is a very good tool, or you can use sociology theories. That would enrich your power of your presentation. So if your talk is based on theoretical frame, that would be wonderful. So that is my just comment. So that in the next time, you will have more persuasive presentation with references and theories. That is my comment today.
Thank you, Professor Ho Kim. Yes, I'd like to invite Jimin Seo, the award remark as the most excellent award winner. Yeah. Just some sentence, yeah, please. But you are prepared.
Am I? Yes, we were required to write some lines because we might be the first award. I never knew I was going to read this. I did not imagine to get such a great opportunity and a chance to even stand here. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to think about forestry and sustainability. As the professor just mentioned, I do feel like my presentation has so many missed points and I have so many parts to develop on, but I hope I can learn more as I do my study in my college future years. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Then I'd like to close the ceremony. Then I'd like to invite Professor Johan Lee for closing this session.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johan Lee, the chair of Global Environment Management. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the participants who received awards today. Congratulations again. And the entire world is suffering due to the climate crisis, as you know. During such times, your research presentations and achievements will be the keys to hope for the future. So I believe here everyone represent our hope and the solution to the climate crisis. Maybe this is why Seoul National University wants our students to have a very clear understanding of environmental issues and the climate crisis, and also to study how to address them while actively engaging in today's discussions. I believe today has become a platform for such opportunities. Again, I would like to thank His Excellency George Smith, the German ambassador, for creating this occasion, and also I express my gratitude to the President Hong-Lim Liu and the Dean Pan-Sik Chang for honoring us with their presence. And thanks are also due to Ho-Kyung Ri, the director of Seoul Information Center, for delivering the congratulatory message. And also a special thanks to Professor Bang Mi-sun for her efforts in preparing today's events. Can you give a big round of applause? And also to Chairman Professor Kim Ho and the committee members for their hard work in selecting the awardees. Once again, I thank all of you who stayed until the end of today. I wish you all good health and abundant blessing as the year draws to the close. Please do not forget that there's today. Do we have dinner?
Yes.
Yes, there's dinner for you. So don't forget it, and then also return home safely. In the beginning, you know, some people mentioned about last night's events, but we still have, you know, hope for the future. And today we discussed about the issue with Professor Kim Ho. As Professor Kim Ho, I am also optimistic. Here, you are our hope. So. The future should be bright. Don't worry too much about last night event. Okay, let me just say about the forest, because I'm studying forests. Forests are the future, and forests are hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before closing the conference, especially I'd like to appreciate the Mr. Pascal Rose from German Embassy. Thank you very much. Congratulations all teams again. I thank all participants on site and online, also the metaverse and YouTube. I expect we can have next conference for global sustainability 2025, collaborating between German Embassy and Seoul National University. Thank you for your participation. Please don't miss the opportunity to visit the metaverse until 10:00 p.m. today. Thank you, everybody. Vielen Dank.